This story is about when we had just moved to Carmichael, and well, it must have been Larry was about 10 months old, I think, or maybe a year. Larry was a year because he was walking. And we were Christmas shopping, and Glenn was working nights, and he had just gone to work, and I had taken the kids to get some groceries, and I was going to come home and drop the groceries, just set them on the porch. At that time, we didn't have car seats for the children, and so when I pulled up into the driveway, and our driveway was kind of steep, and then you went into and it kind of circled around and did like that. Anyway, I just pulled up in there and got out, and I told the kids, okay, sit tight, I'll be right out. And I left the door open even because I was just going to put the groceries on the steps going in. And I turned around, and Larry was out of the car, sitting on the concrete, saying, "Mommy!" And Rhonda was saying, "Oh, Mom!" And so then she tried to get up. By that, Larry, when he got out, must have grabbed the gear shift or something and took it out of park, and it started rolling backwards. So by the time Rhonda got her foot onto the ground, it had already started rolling back down the hill. And because Larry had turned the wheel, it was going like this, and it rolled right over Rhonda. It drug her, it went over her legs and her chest, and I got to the car just as it was pulling her underneath her chin and over her head. It bumped, and I forgot about the car. It rolled back over the grass, and I ran to see about Rhonda, and she wasn't breathing. She was just laying there on the concrete, and I did everything wrong. I blew on her face, and then I picked her up and shook her. Can you imagine that? And about that time, my neighbor, just by accident, right? Coincidence? I don't think so. The Lord sent my neighbor by, and he says, "Nita, what happened?" And I said, "Oh, Rhonda was ran over." And so he says, "Give me Larry." And he took Larry and took him over to his wife. And then by the time I got in the house and called the doctor, and the doctor said, "It'll be faster to have you bring her to my office than to call for an ambulance." So my neighbor came and drove us to the doctor's office. In the meantime, his wife had called Glenn to tell him we would be at Dr. Robinson's office. And when we got there, he died. She began to, when she laid her on the bed, she took a breath like that, like she barely could breathe. And by the time we got her to the doctor's office, she was still breathing that real terrible breathing noise. And so the doctor diagnosed her with a broken leg, fractured rib cage, and probably a concussion. And the skin was drug off her face and off her hair. It was that bad. And so he said, "We've got to get her to ER right away." So he called the ambulance, and they went in the ambulance. And Glenn and I, by that time, he had gotten to the doctor's office. And on the way to the hospital, we prayed, I don't know what. We weren't sure she was going to live with the rib cage broken, and maybe a punctured lung because her breathing was so ragged. Anyway, we prayed. I prayed. I said, "Lord, if you save my daughter, I will serve you the rest of my life." I already loved him, but I didn't think about that. Anyway, we got to the hospital, and pretty soon after a while, the doctors come, take x-rays and all that stuff. Pretty soon, 2 doctors came in, and they said, "Mrs. Kate?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Are you sure that a car ran over your daughter?" And I kind of got mad. I said, "Are you kidding me? Look at the tire marks all over her body and her..." And no, he says, "I don't mean it like that." He says, "Dr. Robinson diagnosed her, but there is nothing wrong with her. Her leg is not broken, her ribs are not cracked, and we can't see any fracture on the skull." So he said, "We don't know why, but she's well." He said, "I would advise you to leave her in the hospital for a couple of days and let us observe her." So she couldn't stand up. She couldn't put any weight on her legs. But I think that was because the Lord was healing her legs. I don't know. But that was a miracle right there for you, darling.
Right? Because why would he say she had a broken leg if it wasn't broken?
It was
That's
broken.
That's pretty hard to fake, right?
Well,
or to mistake.
And cracked ribs. He felt them. He says, "Oh no, there they are, cracked ribs, broken leg." And he says, "I don't know about the hip, but it could be a fracture because it's so badly abused." Anyway, so we got there was nothing.
It's amazing.
It is.
I've never heard that story in detail. I'm glad I asked.
Yeah. So that's one of my healing does not do anything by accident stories.
Love it.
Okay?
Love you, Grandma.
Love you, darling girl.